Hi, welcome back to My Mom Life. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Jordan, and today we are making homemade caramel sauce. Here are all of the ingredients that we need for this caramel. I have 6 tablespoons of butter, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of heavy cream, a 1/4 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar. I have a teaspoon of Karo syrup or light corn syrup. And then in this one, I have some vanilla extract. So what we're gonna do is put the sugar, water, and corn syrup in a saucepan and take it over to the stove. And then I will add in the water and sugar and corn syrup. The first step is to cook this over medium-high heat. So I'm gonna have it on about a 7 until this is all dissolved. The sugar will dissolve into the water and you don't wanna stir it too much. I'm just going to give it a little mix, trying not to get the sugar on the sides of the pan. And we're gonna let this sit and just dissolve for about 5 or 6 minutes. You'll start to see this turn a little bit of an amber color, and that is what we're looking for. All right, it's been about 5 or 6 minutes. Instead of stirring it, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of swirl it around just to make sure things are evenly dissolving. And then I'm gonna bump see how this, I don't know, hopefully you can see, it's starting to turn a little amber. I'm gonna bump the temperature down to about a 3 and let it hang out a little bit there for just 2 or 3 minutes. The color will become much deeper than it is now. I just don't want it to burn, so don't walk away from this. We're just gonna give it a couple more minutes. You can definitely monitor the temperature with a candy thermometer, but this is a super easy caramel to make, so I didn't wanna pull out the candy thermometer and make it more difficult than it needs to be. So 5 to 6 minutes at a higher heat. Now we're gonna bump it down to about a 3 and let it keep going for 2 to 3 more minutes. All right, the color is definitely amber, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it off the stove and we're gonna add in our other ingredients. I went ahead and switched to a metal spoon because I was watching something the other day, I think it was on Instagram, and she was making, I don't know what she was making. It may have been caramel. It was some sort of candy, I think. And she was stirring with a spatula like this, a rubber spatula. And by the end of it, her spatula had like melted into the caramel. So now that I have seen that, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to a metal spoon. I totally forgot about that until I was stirring this with that rubber spatula. So our butter is just about melted in there. I'm gonna add in the cream and the vanilla and our little bit of salt. And I'm just gonna stir this until it is all combined. It's still very loose, but it will definitely thicken up on us while it cools. It's super hot right now, so we are gonna let this cool, and then I'm gonna show you how nice and creamy and thick this caramel gets. I have a couple of jars that I'm gonna store this in. So I'm gonna go ahead and, while it's pourable, pour it into my jars. It's super hot, so be extremely careful. I would not do this in a thin glass jar. These are canning jars, so I know that they can hold up to the heat. But if you have like a thinner glass, sometimes super hot things like this will actually bust those, and even plastic. I would wait until it cools if you're gonna store it in something plastic. Another tip that I read is when it is cooling, go ahead and place a paper towel over it, just like this, not touching it or anything, but just to kind of catch any condensation that may form. That way it doesn't mess up the caramel, it doesn't form a skin on it, is what I read. So we're gonna try that. I will come back here when our caramel sauce is cool and show you how nice and creamy and thick it is. Here is the finished caramel sauce. If you wanted a deeper, richer color on your caramel, you could cook it for a few more minutes on the stove before you add everything in. Like before you pull it off the stove, let it go for a few more minutes. But this is a light caramel sauce and it is so yummy. I actually have a recipe coming up where I'm using this, so stay tuned for that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you subscribe and stick around. I'll have the recipe written in the description box for you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.